Hello, my American Studies 140 students. This is Professor Collins. It's Saturday. Is April the 3rd. Just wanted to give you a quick update regarding your executive summaries and first drafts of your papers. Overall, they're all right. I'm mostly pleased, not across the board, but generally pleased with the quality of the work for most of you. Some of you have some work to do, some catching up to do on the work that you've done with this so far. Um, I just want to make sure that there are four things I want to really quickly talk about that are clear. That I want to make sure are clear. One is, in general, that an executive summary is not a paper. It's not, and the first draft I asked for was a first draft, not a rough draft, meaning that what you were supposed to hand in was something that was more than just something that, you know, you threw a bunch of words together. It was supposed to be something that was pretty clean, not necessarily complete, not necessarily filling in everything you needed to fill in, but complete in the sense that I would be looking at something that didn't have lots of spelling and grammatical and structural errors, stuff. It's something that looked like you know, that resembled the samples that I provided for you to emulate in terms of writing an executive summary, right? This is my topic. Here's the history behind this topic in a very narrow, specific sense. Here are the main issues around this topic or this issue or this problem that people in the DMV or in Washington, D.C. are experiencing. Here's what they think about it. Here's some possible remedies, solutions, ways to address this, not just based on stuff that's off the top of your head, but based on the research that you did on this particular topic. That's what you were supposed to do. And some of you gave solutions without, you know, getting an understanding of the people involved. A couple of you tried to write something that was so policy oriented that they forgot that there were people involved in the process. Statistics aren't enough. Being able to quote newspaper articles saying, these poor black people over here, they're suffering through all this stuff, isn't sufficient. And quite frankly, it perpetuates stereotypes. So there's that issue too. So in general, I would say that those are problematic things I saw in some of your work. But other things that you should just be doing, right? Some of you decided to do footnotes, and a bunch of you, I don't know if it's because of the way Microsoft Word is built these days. Since I've been using Google Docs since 2015, I actually don't use Word as a program anymore. But those of you who are automatically using it to convert your references to Chicago style without actually doing the work of doing it yourself, even if the Chicago style that you were using were correct, it's still not the modified version. And Microsoft Word version isn't correct. It really isn't. So, you know, when I ask you to read the syllabus and understand the syllabus and make use of the syllabus to do your work, it includes using examples of what everything looks like in modified Chicago style. Everything in that syllabus I reference is in modified Chicago style. Even if you don't want to look at the specific document for all the different kinds of examples of how to do modified Chicago style, that should have been sufficient. And it's kind of disconcerting actually to go through one document after another where you've done your own style or thrown up something from MLA or APA or what you think might be Chicago style through Microsoft Word, but it actually isn't. Things like proper nouns, right? Where everything's in lowercase for something that's the name of a neighborhood, the name of a ward, the name of a person, even in some cases. There are lots of things that are proper nouns where the first letter is always capitalized, including the word black, by the way. Word black, if you're in reference to anything other than the color or hue black, like people, black people, should be a capital B, right? That was a big issue in May and June of last year. Every major format has since converted to that. Those that, beyond the ones that had already gone to capital B, like APA format was already using it. It's been using it for years, just as another example. So, it's just the lack of attention to detail that's kind of important, right? You know, even for a first draft, but especially for a first draft, because when you do a final draft, especially when you have deadlines, you might not correct the things that you needed to correct in the first draft. That's why you want to make sure your first draft is clean. And that is the difference between a first draft and a rough draft. People think I say first draft, they think it's a rough draft, and I don't understand that words matter. If I said I wanted you to hand it in a rough draft, you could have just handed in me pretty much anything. I wanted a first draft, so that would be a first full enough draft to show what you were able to do up to this point and what you needed to do to finish up the draft to have a proper second draft. Um, by around April 18th or so. So those are the things that I wanted to really point out in terms of things I saw in folks' work that was concerning. There are other things too. I mean, I haven't covered it all. I just wanted to make sure that those things were key. You know, and understanding things, right, and understanding where you're coming from, and that sort of thing. Some of you were even snarky in your commentary back to me in your work around things like citations and other things. And I understand you don't like doing this work. I don't like grading it or ungrading it for that matter. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I don't like it. I'd prefer if I could just sit down with you one on one for 5 or 10 minutes and tell you what you did wrong, and then you'd fix it. But that's not the case. And part of my job is to make sure that you do these things right, so that you know you come out with some understanding of how to do something, and not just think you could just throw words on a piece of paper and everything's going to be fine. So anyway, there's that. And then one other quick thing I want to say, and I'm going to say this, I'm going to reiterate this in announcements probably today, and certainly the announcements for week 12. I want you to also, as much as I'm complaining about different things and pointing out different things, I also want you to relax a little bit. And what I mean by that is I'm not going to relax the rules about what I want. I want to relax you in terms of thinking about what happens if you don't follow these rules, or if you miss a few things here and there. I'm not a perfectionist. I understand people make mistakes, and that's fine. So this is what I propose. Most of you are sitting right between roughly a high B, like a borderline B plus, all the way to a solid A in the course. What I'm proposing and promising to you is that if you finish this process off properly, meaning you turn in a fine second draft that is at least very solid. You've covered all the things I've asked you to cover. You've heeded all the things I've asked you to heed. You've taken my recommendation seriously and tried to complete the project with your best possible work, and do really good presentations that complement your executive summaries and your papers. I promise you that if you can do those things, your grades or those will be in the A minus to A range, generally speaking. That's not me just giving you a grade. That's me saying if you do the best that you can in improving what you have from where you stand, that I will, in totality, with your peers' comments, with my own analysis, um, that that part of the course will end up probably being, the whole project part probably being in the A minus to A range, which will probably help most you earn an A minus or an A in the course, or if not, it's certainly a B plus. So that's my promise to you, to basically help motivate you to do better with your second drafts, to do the best presentation you can, to put yourself in the best position of getting, an A or an A minus grade in the course. So that's my promise to you around all that. I hope that you guys take me up on it.